Good evening, everyone, fellow travelers on spaceship Earth. I am not sure why this is doing what it's doing, but it's doing weird things. Okay, here we go. Now we're back. Oh, don't close that. We are working on getting this online and making this all work. Okay. How is everybody out there in the real world? Oh, there you go. Home and making dinner. I look forward to hearing your war stories. um, so, yep. Curious how that all went down. Uh-huh. I don't think anybody's going to really think of me as a school counselor, but okay. It was indeed wild, huh? Nice. Nice. Ready to kick butt? Are you hearing any music out there? Is it playing music? Hmm. Okay. I guess so long as it's playing music, we're okay. I'm going to try to pick something to draw. I'm just feeling like I should do something. Something different tonight. I'm feeling sketchy. So I'm looking around some of my spots where I've got kind of what I call my morgues. Find something to get inspiration from, you know? There we go. Yeah, I'm in a holding pattern because I sent my comics off to be proofread, and my proofreaders caught COVID. They're all right, but they're definitely down for the count. So because of that, I'm kind of out for a bit here. Just kind of waiting. Yeah, it's difficult to move forward if you don't have the comics going for you. So I'll just warm up here, I guess. Just mess around. Yep. That's why you do that. It's all right. You do what you need to do, my friend. You do what you need to do. You can join me if you want or not. You can draw. I don't care. It's all good. Or you can go to bed. I mean, like, go to bed is an option. I'm just saying. That'd be good. I'd love to see the portfolio.
Uh-oh. Ah, there it is. There it is. I found it. You guys hear me okay? Oh, I can't hear you. Wow, my voice sounds weird. Okay. Weird, I can't hear you. Let me check my settings here. Are you talking, Guy? Can you try to say something? Are you talking, Guy? Can you try to say something?
I'm not hearing you yet.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
I see you.
Oh.
For that matter, I'm not hearing the music.
Oh, okay. I switched over to this one because I could hear myself talking.
Is this off? Yes. Somewhere
Weird.
I turned off my... Hang on. Somewhere along the line, I turned off my speakers, looks like.
Oh.
Like I pushed the physical button on the front of my speakers.
Uh-oh.
That's why I haven't been hearing the music or you. I'm like,
oh!
Now I can hear you.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, that was weird. I was...
Well, it totally makes sense because, like, it makes sense because I turned my speakers off somehow, but that wasn't what I was trying to do.
Yeah. So let me make sure this is the right one. Who dares ping me for something? I just got pinged at work.
I'm glad you got to go, and I'm glad you got portfolio done, and you know what I mean. Like that was all of that's good. This is all good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It was an interesting experience because apparently I made the wrong. Well, when I got there pretty late, and so we got to the Airbnb at like 10, 11.
10, yeah.
Really late. Their time.
Late, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just the timing that I flew in. So we went to bed and we got up pretty early. Had to get in line for our tickets. And then they made us walk around the entire, like we had to, of course we stood outside waiting to I got my badge. It's a professional badge. And to my knowledge, professional badges didn't have to wait in line with the regular attendees. This year I was told to wait with everybody else. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm here with a vendor. You're gonna make me wait outside? So I was not expecting that. And it was 10:30 before I even hit the show floor. Even though I was in line at 8:30.
Good thing you didn't have a panel right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, if I had a panel right off the bat, I would have called Egomanga and been like, you need to come get me. Because they're not letting me in. Because I know that works. That's how I did it with Wacom, was I just called them. Or with Graphically, the Clip Studio folks. I'm like, hey, you need to come get me because they aren't letting me in. And that's what we did last time. Miso, what?
Like, I missed you.
Well, she's perfectly capable of jumping onto the desk herself. She just doesn't want to.
She missed you.
Oh my gosh, I have a photo that I put on. Don't you touch my apple pie. That's a very expensive apple pie. It's gluten-free. It's very expensive. Yeah, I'm having cheesy vegetables that I made. And you're gonna love this. So I was out of meat. Like I forgot that I didn't have any beef or chicken at home. And so I was digging through my bag looking for something to cook, and I found some beef jerky. So I put beef jerky in with my cheesy broccoli and cabbage and kale that I was cooking. It's amazing. It's really good, actually.
This actually didn't turn out as bad as you'd think it would have. That's awesome.
No, it's really good. I just cut it into like fine pieces, and if it was a better cut and like actually seasoned right, I could see this as being like a weird version of bulgogi. Not gonna lie. Really good.
I could see that.
But anyway, so for the first 2 hours we walked outside, and then they walked us inside, up an escalator, and around to the entire convention center before letting us back downstairs to enter the exhibit hall, just because they wanted people inside because it was starting to get hot. So to get us inside, they just made us walk around the upper floor of the exhibit of the convention center. Meanwhile, screaming at us the entire time to stay towards the windows to keep the aisles clear. And it was like, well, sounds like you guys didn't plan this very well. So it was whatever. But once you got in, it was honestly, it was nice. In my personal, and I say this as an individual, not like Global Comics employee status. It was nice to see a Comic-Con about comics because the actors and writers weren't there.
I could see that.
They aren't allowed to. Basically, what my job was is to go meet our partners and publishers and creators, and check on them, see how they're doing, see if they need anything. How can I support you today? You know, that sort of thing.
For Global Comics?
Yeah. And then I had like some merchandise to go deliver to some people.
See, I like the business model. I've been thinking about this a lot. The business model about Global Comics is pretty cool because it's in Global Comics' best interest for us to produce stuff that they can use. And it's in our best interest for Global Comics to put that stuff out. So it's a win-win. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to kind of find a way to exploit it on either side, you know?
Yeah. It was really nice to see everyone was surprised. They're like, but what, you're a digital platform? Like, yeah, but it benefits us to come check on you. You guys need any support? Do you need anything? Because, like, you're here working, and we want to be sure that you have what you need. Like, we care. Like, I genuinely just was wanting to know, do you need me to go get you water? Do you need me to watch the booth for you? Like, do you need anything? And I will help you.
Yeah. But I was just, it's a win-win. It's really cool.
It is, yeah. So I did that until panel time. And then as I was heading to my panel, for some reason, I kept dropping everything I was carrying. And my legs were tired, my feet hurt. It was like going on 4 p.m. I had maybe like 5 minutes to get there, and I still had the whole like upper level to cross. Because I went up on the wrong side. I hadn't quite learned the map of the convention center internally yet. And I was about ready to break down and cry because I was so tired and so frustrated. And I dropped all my stuff and I just kind of stared at it. I was like, F this shit. And I was about ready to start crying. This woman, I think she said her name was Christina Walker. She walks up to me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I am not okay. I'm tired. My feet hurt. I'm going to my very first panel ever, and I'm really nervous, and I don't feel like I deserve this panel." Like, I just like exploded to her. And she's like, "Well, let me help you carry everything. Do you know what room it's in?" And she was like super, Miso, you leave my pile.
Unlike Miso, she was super sweet.
Right, and helpful. And so she helped me carry everything, and we got to the panel. And it went so well. It was really cool. A friend of mine, his name is Matt Schofield. He works on The Simpsons, the animated Simpsons. He's from Australia, and he has a comic called Steamroller Man, which is hilarious as hell. It's awesome. He just, was that George?
Yeah, that's George. What are we after here? You want scritches?
Hi, George.
We'll put you on screen so people can see you.
Hi, George. Hi, Mr. Void.
There we are. There we go. Yep, he's a void. He's a void floof.
He's so adorable.
He's a void floof.
It's like a black mass with eyes.
It's a void floof. He's a polydactyl void floof too. Yeah, he's got 7 toes on each hand.
Wow. Just the front 2 or all
Just
of
the front 2.
That's amazing.
Right? Because you're a void floof is what you are. Yeah, you are.
Oh yeah, I was going to show I can also show the presentation I gave.
There we go. I'll put my void floof on the
There's
ground.
that in here somewhere.
He likes to lay literally on my chest at night, and he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It was cute when he was little, but now he's big. It's like starting to hurt a little. But then if I've got my heavy blanket, which I don't usually have in the summer because of course I can't even deal with it. But in the winter I have this heavier blanket, and he'll just sit there and make biscuits on it all day long because he likes the feel of the fur and stuff like that.
Miso's that way too. I have this blanket that I put on my desk, and she likes to lay on it. Especially when I have the air blowing on me directly when it's hot. She likes to lay on that blanket because she gets cold, I guess.
Yeah.
So she likes to curl up on this blanket. So for the panel, I ended up talking about Komawani and how it relates to Kisho blankets. And the other, my co-panelist, Eigo Manga was just the moderator host. And so my co-panelists talked about actually drawing it out. So this worked out perfectly where I was able to talk about what's Komawari and the grid systems, the Yondan-gumi and Sandan-gumi. I was able to talk about Waksen.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
gutters, Waksen being the actual border lines, and then the gutters, which they don't really have a word for. Rough pages and dense pages, and what I did is it's not updated here because I had it on my drawing tablet, so I could draw on top of the screen because I didn't want to load my CC there. So you can't see the notes that I made, but we talked about rough pages, dense pages, misegoma, and then I gave this had a bunch of examples about what misegoma was in my own work. And then I talked about borderless panels, and I have a couple examples here because I love to do me some borderless pages. And then we talked about Naname Matsugu panels, and I probably fucked up all the pronunciations, but it's okay. And then showed just here's an example. This is all Matsugu panels, but it still has a lot of impact and power and stuff, just based on overlapping. That's what I talked about. Overlapping characters on top of panels can be really interesting as far as dynamic wise. And then we talked about there's another. I love using Yu Hakusho as an example because it has so many good examples of Ma. He does a really good job. It's action, but it shows good examples of Ma. And then the whole Kikigoma, Makurigoma, and direction flow of action is what I talked about on this page here. And then we talked about blockage, how it's important to consider where your gutters are to help to make it readable. I probably should have had this page with the Wakusen and gutter page, but I literally made this the night before the panel, being honest. I literally made it. I knew what I was going to talk about. I just didn't have it all put together. And then I talked about how everything I had just talked about relates to Kishoten Kids. And Eigo Manga really liked this. He thought this was a really, really cool presentation. So much so that it's very likely that I'll be at Anime Expo next year and probably San Diego
Nice.
next year too. So he was really pleased. And I told him like, if you need anything, like Austin, like just let me know. I will be happy to do a presentation, even if it's remote or whatever. Like just let me know, and I can get it done. So I did that, and then Lay, my co-panelist, she did her presentation, which was actually drawing out a page, and her logic behind how she does like the name. It was basically what she did. And what was cool is she's from Latin America, and so she was able to give a completely different perspective on the same things. So it was really cool. It went really
It's
well.
very interesting also to think whenever we talk about people from Latin America or other parts of the world who are also still working in the same style. You know what I mean? Like there was a time in the 90s where if you had said, 30 years from now or whatever, there will be people all over the world who are doing the same style, I would have thought you were just crazy, I would have gone, yeah, I don't think so. Nobody cares enough about this.
It was fun though. Yeah. It was really cool. Just to kind of like talk about that stuff and actually feel like, wow, like I'm actually giving people helpful and useful information. Like along the way, I was asking people, do you know what this word means? Do you know what this word means? And people kept staring at me. And I'm like, that's good. That means you all learned something today.
That's awesome.
And then, because it was also a portfolio review, I had a couple people come up afterwards and show me their stuff. And then tomorrow, when I am fully aware, I need to respond to a bunch of people and send people links because they wanted links to the articles. So I got to do that too. Everyone that wanted it, like I had them send me a message on Instagram or whatever social media of choice. So I gotta do that. I probably will just make a thread on Twitter and just link everyone to the Twitter thread.
Yeah, on X.
Yeah. Not my platform. It's Twitter. I will die on that hill. Not following it. Or Zeet. That's stupid.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated by how he's managing to melt it down.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been interesting. And then the review. Well, the times on their Twitter weren't accurate. So I missed Fridays. I missed Thursday's review because I didn't have the right time. And then when I got there at 10 a.m. on Friday, like, oh, the review was actually at 2. I thought, fuck, I scheduled my entire workload around it being like right now. So I had to really quickly reorganize. Like I went ahead and signed up because what you have to do is you have to fill, like, you had to register. And then of all the people that registered, they only selected 30 for the reviews. Of course I got in. So I was midway through I was in the first, like, quarter of the list or whatever. I was number 8.
And this is for Viz, yeah?
But yeah, this is Viz.
Making sure, because I didn't hear whether you said that or not.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it's Viz Media. What I didn't know, when I sat down and I was looking at the judges for the review, I knew I recognized one of them, but I didn't know who it was. I'm like, I know who this is, but I don't know who this is. And so, like, I'm really quickly scrolling through all the Viz Media and, like, employees and related people. And then I thought, well, let me check what they did at Anime Expo. Maybe they have his name. Sasaki Hisashi was there.
Oh boy.
And I wanted to throw up. I was like, oh my god, the former editor of Weekly Shonen Jump is here. Terrifying ass
Yes.
prospect. Absolutely terrifying. And then I thought, wow, this is really scary. And it got worse. Because when they called my name up, and I sat down, and they introduced everybody. And when Mr. Sasaki would introduce himself, I'm like, oh, I know who you are. My voice cracked. He's like, oh, like, yeah, I've been following you on Twitter for a while. Big fan of your work. And he just kind of smiled and like, I'm like, he was like, what's wrong with this person? And he, like, I'd been watching what they were doing with all the previous people, and it was very clear they were taking notes on people. So I was getting more nervous, more nervous. And they're like, okay, so let's start to review. Let's see what you got. And when I opened the document, this is what I had it in single page format. I had it in a PDF. And they liked the cover. I thought it was really cool. And then when they saw the story synopsis, right? When I showed them the story synopsis, the one of the other folks there was the Viz originals editor for the original graphic novels. She's like, "Oh, this isn't a pitch. This isn't for a pitch, is it?" And I'm like, I thought that's what we were supposed to do, because when I went to your website and under portfolio reviews, when it says like you can find more information here, it takes you to the pitch section. And she's like, oh. And I said, oh, then I don't have the right material for you. Then I don't have clearly what you were asking for. And my heart sank. I was like, holy shit. I don't have a portfolio for you. She's like, well, what do you have here? And I said, well, I prepared everything that's asked for in the pitch guidelines. I prepared. And so I have the proposed story outline, the target audience, the similar titles, the character descriptions, the additional cast. I went through and made all of that. And so she's like, well, do you at least have characters and sample pages? I'm like, yeah, I have those. She's like, okay, so let's start there. So I show her these pages, and she's like, okay, this Mr. Sasaki kind of like sat up a bit. And she's like, oh, these look really nice. I'm like, thank you.
You're like, squeak.
And so, yeah, she's like, well, tell me a little bit about these characters. She's like, just keep going. And so like I showed her like Aros, Mao, Pokeway, and Ama. I think I spent maybe like a minute or two on each character, and honestly, like a lot of this I did on the plane or the night before.
Although those look gorgeous, so I'm not gonna.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah. The feedback that I got, I really wasn't expecting. So you can see I kind of ran out of time here. I did just really quick like roughs. And then for the sample pages, I had my first page where with Monody, and then like the part where Aros makes the deal with Amat, and like they're talking, blah blah blah. And then there's an action sequence here when he runs into Reno. He gets his ass beat, and then Rin shows up, and then like that's all I had. The feedback that I got, and I did not realize this until they pointed it out. She went back to Aros's page, and she's like, she's like, your work looks good. Like you clearly have a lot of character details. You have she's like, I like the story. The length sounds good. It's what we're looking for, but your work looks too much like Rumiko Takahashi. And she specifically pointed out his hair. And she's like, he kind of looks like Inuyasha. And I went, oh my god, you're right.
I actually thought about that before, but didn't bring it up.
Yeah,
because I was like, well, but you admire Rumiko, so that makes some sense. You know,
I do. It does, yeah. I didn't realize it was that strong, like an influence though, until like she pointed it out. And she's like, you even have like the two hair things in the front and the hair in the back and like the bangs. She's like, it looks like Yasha. The other thing she said is the characters kind of have the same face. They're very similar. Like, she's like, it's fantasy, so you want to push it more, push the character designs more. They have very similar silhouettes, very similar hairstyles. So she's like, really, like, this character, Moriri, is really the only one. Like, these two, Zai and Moriri, are really the only ones that have different hairstyles. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And then, like, she liked Coco. She was kind of cool. And I didn't know how to respond to this, and it did kind of hurt my feelings at first, but that's what she's there for. Is to, like, give me honest feedback. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's not there to hurt my feelings. She's there to give me good feedback so I can be better. But I just didn't know like how to process it or like how to go about fixing it. So I wasn't sure like how to take it. She said, she's like, it's very clear that you're inspired by certain cultures. But I think you're a little too accurate. You need to be more, she's like, push the fantasy element and not make it so obvious, like, who you're inspired by, as far as, like, real world. Basically, the way that I have interpreted this is you're a little too close to cultural appropriation. Which is great to know. I need to know that. So, like, at first I'm like, well, how do I fix that? And I realized that now that means I have to do actual character design, which I fucking hate doing. So I did that on the plane. I haven't updated it yet. On the plane, I basically spent the entire time like redrawing Aros. Completely different like face and hair design. Changed Mal, gave them a very different horns and stuff. Just like completely changing these two characters up.
Did you have you're still using Clip Studio 1, aren't you? Oh, you're on 2? Did you have a problem saving? Oh.
No.
When I loaded Clip Studio on the plane this last time I came back from Oregon, it said, can't connect to the internet, so we're going to put you on, featured.
When did you last connect to the internet with that device?
I'm sorry?
When was the last time you used Clip Studio on that device?
It might have been a while, but I don't think it was that long. But it might have been a while.
I think it's like 2 weeks, and then it has to like reconnect or something.
Yeah, it was just really irritating. I did a really good drawing of a truck that I was very proud of, and then it wouldn't save because it says you have to upgrade in order to save. And of course, I'm like,
Yeah, if you wait too long, basically with version 2, whenever you open it, it'll try to re-verify your serial number. I think it's like every week or two. Like at least once a week, you're gonna need to do that so that it'll remember that for like the next week. It'll remember that connection for the next week or two. I forget what they didn't say what the exact number count, like as far as days is, but they're thinking it's 16 for the people that have tested it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to distract
because
you.
like, you're good. I'm still technically eating, so it works. But after we were all said and done, oh yeah, I forgot. But she said, yeah, I really like your story. The length is good. They are looking for longer stuff. I found really interesting because normally you hear that they only want really short stories. So hearing that they were looking for something more long form was awesome. And she, well, I'd say, oh, thank you. Like it did really well on Manga Plus. And on Global Comics in its first year, and I was, with just the first chapter, and I was really happy. And Mr. Sasaki's like, oh, it's on Manga Plus. And I'm like, yeah. I got 7th in May. He's like, really? And so like I brought up on my phone and I showed him like, look, it says 7th. And he's like, oh, like, what's the name of it again? I need to read it. I'm like, no, please don't read it. Because I know how weak the story is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I've gone through my editorial stuff. And so I was like, no, Mrs. Saki, like, please don't read it. I'm like screaming internally, panicking. But she was like, wow, that's really cool. That's awesome. Like, it's awesome that it's doing really well. It obviously has potential. And then she gave me a business card and said to keep in touch.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Which is the end result that you want. So.
Yeah, that worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm gonna be really honest. I didn't catch the name of the third person, so I don't know who it was. And I feel really bad because I totally forgot to ask him what his name was. And I couldn't find his name anywhere. And so I feel really bad because I couldn't thank him properly. And I went by the Viz booth and I thanked Julia later. And then I think Mr. Sasaki posted. I keep saying Mr. Sasaki. That sounds really weird, doesn't it? I thanked him on his Twitter. Like after he made a post about the reviews, I'm like, hey, thank you for your time. I'm gonna follow up as you asked later. So, here's what's even worse. The whole Meshi thing? Guess who never got her fucking business cards before the review? I didn't have my card before my review.
Yep.
And so of course I'm like, I took the card. I thought this was my opportunity to show that I understand this concept. And then I thought, oh shit, I don't have a card. Because the cards went to the cards had the wrong went to the they went to the basically the wrong place. And so we didn't have our cards on time. They had to be overnighted to us. And so I took a card. I'm like, thank you very much. And then I looked at it. I'm like, oh, it's Julia. I already knew her name, but she had told me. Well, thank you for the card, and I stored it away in my wallet. But yeah, it was weird, taking it with both hands. Thank you very much. I only got hers. I didn't get Mr. Sasaki's, of course. I got hers, so I just wanted to show them I'm aware Japanese culture exists. I understand that this is a process. I am business savvy, kind of. I'm attempting to learn to be business savvy. The other thing she said, no Japanese sound effects. She said if we were to work with you, there would be no Japanese sound effects. I said that's perfectly fine. And I said I was originally looking at doing the Dojinshi, and going to Komiket, so that's why I wanted to have the the Japanese sound effects. And she goes, oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah. So that's why I had both. It would make it really easy for me just to change the dialogue and have the sound effect both be in there no matter what. So she's like, oh, okay. But if we were to work with you, there would be no Japanese sound effects.
That's cool. Although that's promising. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The fact that she had to point that out. So overall, yeah, I was really excited about it. Yeah, it was really validating, honestly. Just with everything that has happened in the past, with my teacher at Wingley and stuff. So it was just really validating. And for me too, it was helpful to go through this entire process to make the story outline, target audience. This helped me too to actually go through this process. And then the Vinland Saga panel. I made it to the Vinland Saga panel. I got in, and so I almost didn't. So I got in line. I had a meeting in the morning. This was Saturday, I think. I had a meeting in the morning, and then I basically ran my ass to the panel as fast as I could, and they shut the door right before me. Literally, the person before me was the last one. And they said, sorry, we're full. And I'm like, I've waited 5 years for this. It's been 5 years since I've been to a con. I can wait 1 more hour for like the chance to maybe get in. And within 5 minutes, someone left and I was let in. And I was like, yes! And then no one came in after me.
Funny. That's awesome.
So, yeah, right? And it was really cool. Like I was able to like live tweet it. Well, like from when I got in. I think I only missed 1 or 2 questions. It was really cool. He has, Yukimura has these huge 3D models that he's brought from Europe of boats. He's made crossbow models, but he had to point out they're very weak, you know, because they have any weapons. He's like, but they're very weak. They can't actually hurt anybody. And then like helmets, multiple ship models. Super cool. And he's like, the entire team is most of the team is remote. Assistant wise, so like they don't all come to my place. You know, with the pandemic, everything changed. So he's like, everyone does a different thing, and then they send it to me, and then we just compile it together before we send it up to the final send off. So it was really cool just to like hear about their process. But I thought the most interesting question was the very last one, which was his thoughts about Mira's passing. Because they were known to be pretty close. And he said, we were supposed to have dinner, but it never happened. And we talked about like, hi Donald.
Hey Donald.
Pretty good, just sharing some stuff that happened at Comic-Con.
Yep.
He didn't get to have that last dinner with Mira like they planned. And then he's like, yeah, he like basically what I learned from Mira is that like he was the personification of the limits of a human body. And like what people are truly capable of. And like the very last thing that he said I thought was so cool. Like not cool as in like, wow dude, that's so cool, man, but cool as in like, wow, that's really like inspirational, and like I started crying. Because I feel very similarly about Mira. Like he said that Mira, he's part of my bones, he's part of my body, he lives in me. Like he's part of me. And I'm like, wow, that's a really good way to like put it. Like I feel the same way. Like that's why I work so hard, but I also try to live too. You know, because you know, Mira is he's an inspiration, but he's also an example of going too far. Like that's what this job can do to people.
Yeah.
So it was really inspiring. And what was really even better is I had an aisle seat, so I basically could look straight at him. You know, so it was really awesome just to get to hear him speak and see everything. Get good photos and that kind of stuff. Even though I didn't actually get any good photos, I was able to get some. So, yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, basically since Hall H was basically empty from all the actors and writers.
Right. Without the actors and writers, it's kind of weird.
And so everyone consolidated in the comics halls. And like the manga, the comic, the animation, they consolidated everywhere else. And I don't think I've ever seen it. Like I've been to San Diego before, and I've been to New York before, but I have never really seen and Anime Expo. I've never really seen a hall that packed as far as like people per capita. Yeah, like how close together people were. So I found that very interesting. In a good way. So.
Yeah, I read it.
Hi, Mashing.
Hey, Mashing.
So yeah. And then the rest of it was just global comics, meetings, and business partner stuff that I can't really talk about.
Nice.
Yep, and I did pretty well. and they're probably going to send me to New York too. But I got to get this weight off. I cannot have more cons at 300 pounds. It was hard walking around. I'm carrying 200 extra pounds basically. Well, no. I think my doctor said he wants me at 140. So I basically am carrying a whole second person around. Which I didn't think about until it hit me, and I'm like, wow, I'm pretty fucking strong. Carry around an extra person on my back. I'm like, I'm gonna be buff as hell when I lose all that weight.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's what it felt like, Donald. It was that full. Like, trying to get from 1 hour of the haul took me easily like 30 minutes. Easy. Just to get across. Oh, I got to see Tokyo Pop again. I got to say hi to my friends.
Well, that's good.
When I interned. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and apparently Oi Bob was out there too. But I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Comment.
Oi Bob's been not connecting on social media as much. So.
Yeah. Wasn't Norn out there too?
I'm sorry, what?
What did we? Was it Norn out there too?
I think so.
And I didn't connect with anybody. Like, I remember talking, but I didn't. Todd Jones, I think, was out there too. I just never met up with anybody. When I asked like where we wanted to meet, like nobody responded.
Yeah.
So, it's alright. There's always next time.
So yeah.
It was a good time. I'm exhausted and I'm pretty broke until my reimbursement comes in.
Isn't that the truth? I can only imagine because, of course.
Oh, well over $500. Yep. Well over. Food, Uber. Had to buy like a little cart thingy. I took an almost empty suitcase with me. I think it was like not even 20. It wasn't even like 27 pounds. It was like maybe 26 pounds. And when I flew back, it was 47 pounds. I got so many comics.
Yeah.
So many comics.
Yeah.
It's like half a bookshelf. I'm like, this is not what I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to be getting rid of stuff, not getting more. The bathroom lines weren't that bad if you knew which bathrooms to go to.
But don't hit the ones that are obvious.
Yeah. If you went to the ones, so there was the small press area. And if you went, there was behind the small press area, there was an escalator, sort of like in like the behind the scenes area. There's an escalator that goes up to the second floor, and if you went to the bathrooms, right at the very right after you get onto the second floor, those were almost always empty, or they were very low.
Right, that's cool.
So because that's more of like a vendor area than like a consumer area, and so there was just a lot less people there. So if you took the extra few steps to go up the escalator and go around, like there's like a wall there, if you can go around that, those bathrooms are generally pretty empty and clean. So, I think one of my favorite costumes, there was a whole family dressed as the wilderness explorers from
That's kind of cool.
That was adorable. They even had, what made it even better is they actually have a service dog. And they dressed him up as well. A golden retriever service dog. And I'm like, wow,
really
that's perfect.
It's probably exactly why they did it.
Right. It was perfect costume. And then I saw a Jeffrey the Giraffe. So of course I had to grab that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I was showing it to my friends that are like, who is that? And I'm like, what? Who is this? You have to ask who this is. It's Jeffrey. And they're like, what? from Toys R Us.
Oh,
I didn't realize that they had a mascot. And I'm like, what? I'm old now. Am I old now? Do I achieve old status because I remember Jeffrey the Giraffe?
that's funny.
So it was just kind of funny.
That is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so when I flew in, I technically flew in last night. When I flew home, and got to the airport at 10 because my boss left at 11. So we just Ubered together and went through together. That way he knew I made it. Maybe we could save an Uber fare. And my flight got delayed from San Diego by 45 minutes. And then my flight so after I got there, my flight from Dallas to Nashville also got delayed an additional hour. So I had like 2 hours in delays. And I was supposed to fly in at about like 10:15. Oh no, sorry, no, I forgot time zones. About like 9:15 to 9:30. I didn't touch down in Nashville. I didn't touch down until 11:30. And then it's still another hour drive to my stepmom's house to pick up my cat. So by the time I actually got home and got in bed, fuck showering, like I was like, nope, don't care. I will happily wash my sheets if it means I can go to bed right now. And so I did. And that's what I did this morning is I got up and I started washing all my sheets and stuff because I'm like, well, I just slept with airport germs all over me. I should probably wash everything. So, yeah, that was an experience. And then I was jet lagged as hell all day today.
I can imagine that.
I got up at 9, and my body's like, oh, it's 7. Why am I awake? That's funny. Maybe so. And then I was so sleepy after work that I went to bed at 6, and I woke up at 10:30. So I technically already slept a little bit. And I'm like, well, now I'm not gonna sleep. So I've already slept, so I might as well try to be productive. So I got up and had dinner, and I'm gonna try to find something to do.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. How was your guys' weekend?
Well, you're asking me how it went for me? Hey,
Oh,
no, actually, I was just gonna say Star Trek released an episode early because they were showing it at SDCC. So we got an early episode of Strange New Worlds. That was cool. And like I said, I finished up the rough sketches for issue 2 and 3 of episode 1, which I'm going to try to do together at the same time so that they'll both be done at the same time. And then I sent those off to my beta readers, but then they got COVID, so there's that. They're both fine, but they're sick, so they don't want to read it right now. That's fine. I don't blame them. We're not in that much of a hurry.
Yeah.
So instead, I went ahead and finished up my Springs book because it only had a little bit left to do. We've got a lot more stuff to do, but all the comic strips are in it now, which is good. So that was cool. And tonight I'm just kind of cruising. Tomorrow morning I've got to go to a shoot, so there won't be a morning show tomorrow. It's kind of a bummer, but that's all right. And I think, and the next day I also have a shoot. It's the same place. It's just that the timing ends up being weird. So we end up with having to do the drone work tomorrow and then the housework the next day. So it's all good. Anyway, but other than that, we're doing fine. So, shoot. Yep. So that's a thing.
Hey, Wi-Fi. I'm trying to log in and do stuff. There is definitely Wi-Fi, my dude.
Right?
My tablet's trying to tell me there isn't Wi-Fi, and I'm like, yes, there is. There it goes. Okay. Now let's try logging in again. Yep, there go all my notifications.
Look at the spider. They were short.
Oh, shush. So many notifications. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Please log in. I'm trying to update stuff.
I've got work to do.
Yeah.
Oh, good, Donald. I'm glad that worked for you.
Not me, so.
Squeak.
Basically, yeah. She's like, Mom, why are you awake?
I know. I'm actually starting to wonder the same thing myself.
Why am I awake? Put you have a show that you do?
Yep.
I have to close this so I can update it.
That's all right. We're getting there. I'm actually kind of like petering out like a little bit here. It's like, it's so funny. I don't have a thing on the docket, and so I'm kind of like sitting around going, well, you haven't had new shoes in 5 years. Wow, that's a long time. So yeah.
Alright, cool. Now it's downloading. Oh, it's over a gig now.
Yep.
It'll only take a few minutes to download.
It's all good.
I'm gonna tell you where I started. I was so tired and in my delirium, I don't really recall drawing properly. So I'm kind of curious to see what I did. I don't even remember what I did. What was hard to draw on a plane? We had quite a bit of turbulence.
It is really hard to draw.
Yeah. There was a lot of turbulence over Tulsa. So a good chunk of my longer flight was spent. It's like, damn it. I got some killer cool photos though of like the clouds and stuff. Can't wait to like make a video on my San Diego experience. Me making a standard content video? Wow. That never happens. But I did promise my followers on YouTube that I would do it. You having a good time there, Miso, cleaning out between cleaning your code you have out between your feet? Have a good time?
And you gotta go help someone with funeral expenses. That sounds sad.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's good that you're there for them, though.
Yeah. Yippers. Yeah, so I guess that's a interesting. We didn't do as much fun stuff as you did. Oh no, I lost her. I lost Cat. Cat just zorped out, gone. Well, that's good. I'm glad you got the laundry done. I'm sad for the girl. Yeah. We might have to do, I don't know, something. We might have to move. Your internet died. Hi, Sinclair Goddess. Is it a Babylon 5 reference? I'm curious. I'm doing okay. How are you? That's excellent. That's excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Maybe it's time to telling you to go to bed. All right. Yep, Cat. Might be time for you to head on out. Good night, Cat. We'll see you on the flip side. Well, then, Sinclair Goddess, where are you hailing in from? Well, kind of happen to be doing sort of that art that I've got a convention coming up here soon, so got to kind of prep for it, and that's what I'm doing right here. It's kind of getting prep for it. Normally, I do a comic book called Bellatrix Rising, which is what I'm actually opening right now, so that's actually not a bad idea. And so I will open this right here. This is my comic that I do. Ah, it's too huge. But we knew that. Do you do art as well? Sort of the point of our sort of format here. I don't think that's fitting as well as I want it to. Wonder if I should just put the standee on. Maybe I should just put the standee on here. But this convention is coming up very shortly. And so trying to figure out a way to not just make it a jumbled mess. And I'm probably just too tired for it tonight, but at least I can kind of poke around and get an idea. Find more. What we should do is this. So bring in just the Chang standee. This makes sense, right? If we bring the standee in, everybody's going to recognize that because they see the standee in the con hall. I think we lost you, Sinclair Goddess. Not sure where you went. Alfie. Hello, Alfie. Doing okay. How are you? Well, that's good. Eating food, always a plus. Oh, that's good. Sure. I mean, that's going to be fun. Yeah, nope. Oh, fried rice. Actually, rather love fried rice. Yeah, it's all right. We are in no hurry. That's okay. After stream, I'm going to bed. I think I've finally gotten my bed situated in the right way. There's a fan blowing directly on it. The bird's also eating fried rice. Yeah, I'm tired. We've had a couple of early mornings with a couple of late nights in combination. So I've been staying up for the stream, and then I will get up real early in the morning to go do work. And so it's been kind of, it's been a little rough. We're almost out of this stream. 5 minutes are all that's left. All the lights have changed. Yep. Just about time to sleep. Almost time. Oh noes. Thank you very much, Donald. I'll see you later, my friend. Take care of yourself. I'm about to bail as well. Fried rice might be kind of fun. I might make fried noodles here at some point. See you later, my friend Alfie. I'll see you later on. Good night. And actually, I think I'm going to take my cue and drop out too, because I think we are pretty much done for the night. So I'll see you all tomorrow night. Again, there will be no day show tomorrow because I've got to go on a shoot. So I'll see you all later on. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Good night.